Hello, hello. Today we're doing the tier list for 3.2a. The patch came out like 3 days ago, and I think I played everything so far and figured out what was changed and what wasn't. So yeah, let's just get started. Lee is the same as always. I'm not gonna, I talk about him in every tier list. I'm not gonna say too much. Really strong early game. If you stumble on him, you 1v9 the game. Can pressure a lot of champions on this list. He has some really meh matchups, like Olaf hard counters him now because of Black Cleaver, distance builds and stuff. No, he can struggle if you don't get the lead early game, but he's still the best skirmisher in the game since the game came out actually. Morg is still super strong, she clears really fast. She can't 1v9 games sometimes, even if you get gold leads on her, but she's one of the best, if not the best, AP champ. You clear 5 camps while the enemy clears 3 camps. She provides a lot of utility. You need to be really good with the bind, so you have to practice a lot, because if you miss your bind, you are kinda useless for 10 seconds. But yeah, Irelia is disgusting on her. The slows just feels so bad to play against, I don't know. Olaf got nerfed a bit again on his first ability, but it's not enough and it's not the issue with him. His third skill is still way too strong, does too much damage. He's countering a lot of comps. He's like one of the best junglers to climb with right now in my opinion. If you don't have really good mechanics or if you struggle to snowball as Lee or Kha'Zix, just play Olaf instead. Really tanky, tons of damage, 2 damage. He doesn't really have any hard counters. Ka is pretty good into him, but it's not like impossible to play against. If you get distance, you can deal with him. But yeah, overall still super strong. Needs like 10 more nerfs to get down from S+ tier. Riven is super disgusting. If you guys don't play on Europe, like top 5 players in EU are all Riven players, Riven mains or Riven OTPs. They play her jungle, top, mid lane, everywhere. I see Riven every game. She's really strong. In jungle, she's like a Lee Sin. She has tons of damage level 3. She's a really strong skirmisher as well. Her damage once she gets her ultimate is really unfair, to be honest. She abuses distance, you know, she has the 2-second shield now. She only has problems against some AP champs, like against Gragas she can struggle a lot. But that doesn't have any other big weakness. She's pretty short ranged, I guess, but with Roto Belt and Flash she can do a lot of engages. She still can manage to find openings. Ka as always, can snowball really hard. He has decent early game. He farms pretty quick. If you get 1 or 2 kills early or gank off, you can already open up the map. Snowballs like crazy, just like Lee. You need to have the Ka playstyle and play more like an assassin compared to Lee. With Lee you can just go in whenever you want and look for kicks for plays. With Ka you have to wait for the opponent's mistakes so they can get isolated and you one-shot them. Irelia did receive a nerf this patch. She got her passive damage halved on jungle, but it's not like that big of a deal actually. I checked her jungle clear, she lost a few seconds, but it really doesn't matter too much because Irelia is just broken overall. She has insane damage, she has insane sustain, insane stankiness. She's strong at every point in the game. You do need to snowball with her a bit, but even if you don't, the champ still does everything for you. You don't even need to hit her stun right now. You just spam auto attacks and press your first ability off cooldown, and you kill the whole map. Not much to say. Echo did get buffed. He's in a really great spot right now. I think he's even better than Gragas as an AP jungler. He's not quite S+ tier in my opinion. He still gets going pretty slow, but he's definitely strong now. You can do insane setup plays with your second skill, your W with a stun. The ultimate, you know, is really low cooldown, especially late game. You can just look for a quick assassination kill and just ult out after. You just have to be careful early game. If you manage to get a kill or 2 early, it's already GG. Xin did fall off a bit, I think, just because every other jungler is kind of faster. But he still provides a lot of utility. His ult is amazing. Decent skirmisher. He can counter Lee. He does pretty good into Riven as well. Into Kha'Zix as well. Overall still fine. Graves is also received a nerf, 30% on his first ability. It did hurt his jungle clear quite a bit. You lost like 3-4 seconds. I played it today. But it's still not awful. Graves has still a good early game. You know, level 3 with red buff, he's really strong. He scales like crazy. Once you start to get 1 item, 2 item, 3 items on him, you can hard carry games. Gragas is the same as always. He did receive a nerf on his ult. Now it flies slower. And you actually feel it in game. I missed a lot of ultimates on Gragas because of it. It's so much different. You have to anticipate the enemy movement a lot more. So it did get a bit harder to play Gragas, but overall he still has the same strengths. Can provide a lot to the team. His ultimate is amazing for team fights. He can split the fight really easily. Great engages with his third ability and flash. He does tons of damage. Once you get Luden and Rabadon, you know he can one-shot anyone if they're squishy. Jax is still fine, same as always. He does farm pretty slow in early game, but once he gets going, once he gets Divine Thunder, you press the ultimate and you can't lose any 1v1 to anyone. Provides just too much. He scales really well too. He can counter a lot of champs in the meta, a lot of auto attackers. He does pretty good into Olaf, he does great into Riven, he does good into Ka, into Lee, into Irelia. He's the strongest duelist in the game. If it wasn't for his slow early, he'll be S+. Rengar, I have a Rengar video coming next week because a lot of people were asking for it. I still think he's really good, really strong. I'm only playing the Bruiser build on him though with Thunder Black Cleaver. I don't know how crit Rengar is. I haven't tried it or seen it this patch, but I think it's still fine. The Black Cleaver Divine Thunder build is really busted. You can drain tank a lot, you can sustain a lot, you can just jump in and then W out, second ability out. I mean, you will see in the video how I play him. Vi is still the same. She has really fast clear for level 5. You can full clear on her and then look for ganks. Really good single target CC, really good setup for ganks. If you have a duo mid laner or top laner, you can play with them and do a lot of plays or support. She does struggle a bit into some champs, but she's really good at locking down stuff like Riven, Irelia. You just need your team to have enough damage to follow you. Nunu, Disco Nunu, my boy, he still does great. Even with especially with the meta that's really heavily centered on melee champions right now in jungle, you can do a lot against them, you can lock them up with your CC. He does get countered hard by Morg and Olaf, that's why he's in S. Otherwise I think I will put him much higher. But yeah, best tank in the jungle, provides a lot of utility, a lot of CC. You can spam gank with snowballs until level 5, until minute 5 now, which is really good. Eve, I haven't seen much Eve lately ever since Control Words came out, but the Eve OTPs that I've seen just still do great. She has the same damage as before. If you are an Eve player, you know how to handle Control Words and how to pat around vision. It's not that big of a deal for you. Overall, still really solid AP assassin, and you can still climb as Evelyn. Jarvan, I did move Jarvan up a bit. I used to have him in A before. I played him recently and I don't know, it just feels pretty good on him. I go Black Cleaver Thunder. I'll maybe post another Jarvan video next week. Still great. Still great. Your ultimate is amazing. If you have if the enemy team has champs without mobility, you can just cage them up and they can't do anything. You can pick him if you have wombo combo ultimates, like I don't know, MF or something. Really great engage. In some situations he might be even better than Nunu, but Nunu is way tankier. Camille. Now I posted Camille yesterday. I think you guys saw it's still viable. It's just really rough on the early game now. I don't think I will play her much more this patch until she gets a buff or something, just because the early game is awful. You can still make her work, you know. I tried Thunder and Trinity Force. I talked with a lot of people. Some say you can still go Thunder on her in jungle first item, but to be honest it felt so bad. You literally have no DPS if you go Thunder. You need to wait for Morg second item and that's a long time. That's like 10 minutes. But yeah, not much else to say. Fiora did get a buff this patch. It's not too big, it's like 10 damage on her first ability. You still pick her in the same situations as before, if the enemy team is heavy melee champs, or if you can get a lot of value out of your parry. The problem with her in jungle is that your first ability has a really small range now, so it's kind of impossible to get ganks off. You really need to get Protobolt on her to make her function. Diana in jungle is still fine. You do clear kinda slow, first clear, but she scales like a monster. If you can get a few kills early, it's already accelerating you. Your early game is not even that bad. At level 5 with your ultimate you can get a lot of good ganks off. It's just a matter of time to get some items. She's like a, actually, the only issue is that I think she's just like a worse Echo now, because Echo got so buffed, his jungle clear is a bit faster. His skill's kind of the same, but his damage feels way higher, especially because of the ultimate ratios and stuff. He can also make a lot more setup ganks with his second ability. So yeah, I think Echo is just better than Diana now. Jayce is good, he's a really strong champ. I think he's just stronger in lanes, in top or mid, especially with Hullbreaker. Maybe I'm just playing Jayce wrong or I'm bad at Jayce, because I always go Amamu first in jungle and it takes me a long time to scale. Maybe that's a factor why I feel like he's not that strong in jungle, but he has great poke. He's really strong in melee form as well. His early game, as I said, is a bit slow, but he can spike really hard at first item if you go Black Cleaver or something instead of Manamune. Even Yilmuz I think is great on him. Pentyon, same as always, really strong early. Then after you get 1-2 items, he downskills really fast. After your first item, Black Cleaver, you can't really do much as him even if you snowball. All he can do is just stun someone with his second ability in mid-late game. After that you just pray you can get your third skill off and not die in 1 second. But yeah, sometimes you can get really strong leads with him in early game and then snowball the game, but it's quite rare I think. Wukong, same problems as same issues as always. He is too slow in early game in jungle clearing. His ultimate is amazing, yes, but it has a really long cooldown and without it you're not really a champion in jungle. He's much better in top lane. You can still play Wukong jungle with Thunder and Blade in the Black Cleaver. It's a good combo for him, it works great. But other than that, he's just too slow. Shyvana doing pretty decent, I would say. Little tempo did help her out a bit. It's just that she's much worse than stuff like Jax, Irelia, Olaf, Riven, you know. She relies on her ultimate to do something. Her early game is pretty slow. She does scale decently, but as I said, she's just reliant on her ultimate and the Drakes are not good right now. Tryndamere is quite decent. You can run down people mid-late game. He does need a lot of items though, and usually it's pretty hard to get to them. His ganks are not that great either. He farms kinda slow early game. It's pretty RNG if you get the crits or not. I don't know, I haven't really seen much Tryndamere to be honest lately, so it's quite hard to tell. Shen jungle does function, but as I said in every other tier list, I think it's just not good enough in jungle because carry junglers are much better. And Shen is not that fast. He does have the ultimate, he can cover the whole map with it. You don't even need to set up counter ganks. His dash, his taunt is pretty useful, but yeah, not that great of a jungler. Amamu, I did move Amamu up, you know, he used to be in C forever, just in honor of Juan, the Amamu OTP in Europe, and Franco. They are like challenger Amamu OTPs, with 1k game plus on him. The champion definitely works, it's just he really relies on his ultimate. His first layer is slow, his early game is slow. You can get some ganks off with his bandage toss, his first ability, but it's quite hard. You just have to AFK and pray the enemy jungler doesn't do much, and then you group up at Dragon and just press ultimate and win the fight. Ramos is great against full AD comps. But other than that, he doesn't really do much. He gets really hard countered by Merc Boots, by Tenacity. If you don't manage to get your lanes ahead early game, first 3, 4, 5 levels, you are gonna be useless because you literally can't farm the jungle efficiently. You have to just permagank early game. This works in lower elo, yes, but that's about it. Master E did get nerfed really hard last few patches. He only really works in low elo, I think. I haven't seen him in forever, so I can't really say if he's even good in low elo, but yeah, they just nerfed his first ability too hard. It literally does 0 damage now. Fizz is one of the slowest AP junglers. His early game is really slow. He got nerfed a lot too before. He used to be much better. But now you really need to get to 3 items, and why play Fizz when you can play Gragas or Echo or even Morgana? Set is also turbo nerfed in jungle. He can still work if you really want to play him, but I don't see the reason why. Everything else is just better. Zed did get some help with the energy regen changes on the blue buff. The issue with Zed is that even though you can snowball with him from jungle, once they get Zonya, you really can't play the game. Plus, he can't really do ganks too well. He doesn't have any CC. Only at level 5 he can kind of one-shot people with his ult. I mean, Zed jungle is fun, it works, but I don't know. Just not great compared to everything else. Yasuo can jungle, he can clear jungle decently, but he's just better in lane. Not much else to say. It's kind of the same situation for Renekton. For Renekton, he can function in jungle. He has pretty decent clears. He can do pretty decent ganks with his third ability and stuns, but he's just better in lane because he can bully lanes much easier. In jungle, why pick Renekton when he can pick Lee Sin, right? Akshan is here just because Andrezed traumatized me with it when he was spamming it last few seasons. Now I think Akshan jungle is not that good, especially in this meta. Darius jungle works, he clears pretty decently. You are really squishy as Darius jungle, especially early game. You only really pick him if you have the same situation as Fiora, if the enemy team is heavily melee. That's where he shines the best, or if they're really tanky. Since jungle is a meme pick, I should put him C tier, but he can work. Your ganks are really good with his second ability and the fling, but that's about it. Mundo is dead in jungle, as I said in previous tier list. He's just a walking HP bar, he doesn't provide anything, his jungle clear is kinda mech now. Fleety is dead in jungle, he can't really take any decent rune. Kayle is also too weak of a champion. She does scale from jungle, you just have to AFK farm and pray the enemy team doesn't do anything, but that's not a reliable strategy. Kai'Sa is the best ADC that works in jungle, together with Akshan, if you don't count Graves. Because she can clear the Raptors and other AoE camps that stuff like Vayne and other ADCs can't do, which is her only redeeming quality in the jungle. But yeah, that's it for the tier list. I tried to make it as fast as I could because there's not really much changes other than Echo, I think. Everything else is pretty much the same. Overall, the jungle meta is still really healthy, you have a lot of picks. Even with the fall of Camille, the rise of Riven is here. Abuse her while you can, because I hope she gets nerfed soon. Actually, no, she won't, because she has a skin coming soon, right? So I guess we have to deal with Riven for 2 more months, unfortunately. But yeah, that's it for the tier list. Thanks for watching.